Good morning. We will start our video lessons. This is usually how it will go. I will expect you to follow along and fill out your notes as you are going through this video. It should be about 15 minutes, and then you can get started on the few problems that I give you. We will first start by going through the I can statements. 1-1 is I can identify rational numbers and then write fractions as decimals. So at the end of this lesson, these are the things you should be able to do. First things, and you can pause it because I will be going through this kind of quickly, and to write all this stuff on your notes is going to take a little bit. But first, a fraction is a number expressed in the form a over b. So it's part of a whole. Example 1 over 3. 1 is the part, the whole is the 3. So if there's 3 pieces, and you get one of them. Okay, a mixed number is going to be a whole number with a fraction value. Example 4 2/5. Written like this. Said, you always say the and if you have a whole number and a fraction or part of a number. Improper fraction is next. A fraction whose top number or numerator is larger than the denominator or that bottom number. So improper, normally you think of a fraction kind of like 1 over 3, 2 over 5. This one would be improper because it has the 38 on top and it's bigger than the 17. So the improper fraction is always going to be greater than 1. Okay, a terminating decimal. Think about terminates. It has a final digit. It ends that final digit. So 4.28 done. There's no invisible numbers here besides 0 back here. But other than 0, there's nothing. You can't just have a number there. It's 4.28 done. Terminates. And then our last one is our repeating decimal, which is exactly what it states. It repeats. Decimal with a group of one or more numbers that repeat without end. So example 6.125, the 25 has the line over it, so those two repeat. Okay, I'm going to switch here. Well, actually, yeah. Okay, so place value. Our place values, I always think of, and I am going to switch it to my camera here. How many, I know this kind of bothers some people sometimes, so I'll try to move it slowly. Okay, so here, think about the number 10. 10 has 1 0. So this is the 10th place. The first place is going to be your 10th place. Your next one, what number has 2 zeros in it? Okay, hundredths place. What number has 1, 2, 3 zeros in it? The thousandths. 4 zeros, 10 thousandths. 5 zeros, 100 thousandths. And 6 zeros. Okay? That's how I remember it. So this is your 10th spot. So whenever we have a number that is in my 10th spot here, so say it's decimal 7, that is 7 tenths. And now just say that, 7 tenths. 7 tenths could also be written like that. And we'll get to that more later. Okay. Now, again, you can pause it if I'm probably going to go a little fast. Rational numbers are numbers that can be written as a ratio of 2 integers. All this is saying is it can be written as a fraction. A ratio, also known as a fraction. It includes integers, fractions, mixed numbers, repeating and terminating decimals, and percents. So rational numbers have all of these in here. Let me try and make this. Oh, no. Anyway, and we will go through all the different types. So the top shapes belong to all the shapes behind it too. what that means is integers are rational numbers. Whole numbers are integers and are also rational numbers. Natural numbers are natural numbers, but they're also whole numbers. They can also be defined as integers, and they can also be defined as rational. But when you are defining them, you're going to want to give all of the types. So a natural number, and okay, a natural number, I think of the natural way of counting. When I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I didn't start with 0, did I? I just started with 1. So those are going to be numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Natural way of counting. You can also write natural in that box, but I just wanted to put those numbers in there. Okay, then we have the whole numbers. Now whole numbers are whole. They are not part of a number, so they will not be decimals or fractions. But think of the one number that looks like a whole, and that would be 0. So we're going to actually include 0 in this. The only whole number that is not also a natural number is 0. Okay? Then we have those integers. Integers are just going to now include all the whole numbers, but they're all going to be, you're going to include those negative numbers. So we go to, and it's black here, so I'm going to make a little arrow. It's going to include like -2, -3, -4. That's what these dots mean. So all the numbers this way, and then -1, 0, 1, 2. So it's going to be both negative and positive numbers. And then rational numbers, these are all rational numbers, but they also include those decimals and those fractions. So 1/2 or 0.562. That's a terminating decimal. That goes in there. It was also includes repeating and terminating decimals and percents. So if I'm going to put that in there, if I think about 70%, 70% is out of 100. If you think about that, 70% is not a whole number. So it can't be any of these integers, whole numbers, or natural numbers. So it's actually, and I don't know if you guys have talked about this before, as a decimal, it's 0.7. That is going to go in here. It's part of a whole. So any number that would go, that is not a whole number, or like it's a fraction, a decimal, a repeating decimal, that's just going to be defined as rational. But then if I get into whole numbers, like -2, that's a integer. -2 is not a whole number, and it's not a natural number. Think about that when whole starts with 0 and goes up, all positive numbers. Natural numbers, you think about when you natural way of counting, I start with 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so now we have let's go here. Writing, or the next thing is we're going to do is writing fractions as decimals. So first you're going to divide the numerator by the denominator. So numerator, think about North Dakota. Numerator, denominator, trying to go fast. Okay, if originally a fraction, the decimal will be less than 1. Think about a fraction. It's not a whole. If originally a mixed number or an improper fraction, the decimal will be greater than 1. Just something nice to remember when I'm, checking my work. Just simple things like that when checking your work are very good to remember. Okay, so first, there are a few different ways that you can convert them. You can divide the numerator by denominator. Thinking of North Dakota, the numerator is on top. So the top number is going to be divided by that bottom number. And we should remember how to do long division. You are not going to be able, I believe, to use a calculator. I don't believe on this one you can use a calculator. So this first test. Everything else, every time after this, you will be able to, but I believe on the first one, you are not able to. So you're going to divide the 3 by the 4. And here, remember, if I have a decimal, I want to bring it up. 4 goes into 3, can't do it. 4 goes into 30, 7 times. Sorry. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract, I get 2. Bring down another 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So my decimal is 0.75. Now, there's one other way that you can do this without doing the long division, where I can multiply this 4 by something to get it to a number that is a either a 10 or 100 or 1,000. Well, I'm going to start with 10. Can 4 go into get to 10? No. Can it get to 100? Yes, I can multiply it by 25. If I do something to the top though, bottom, I have to do it to the top. So I'm going to also multiply that top number by 25, making it 75 over 100. And here, just say it, 75 1/100ths. 1/100ths is 2 decimal places. And then I'm going to put that 75 right in here. Just like here, 0.75, 0.75. And I know I shouldn't say point, it's just easier when we're doing it. Okay, if you ever have a fraction that is over 9, those are really easy. All it's going to be is I'm going to do my negative, my 2, and because it's over 9, it's repeating. And that's it. It's going to be negative 2/10 repeating. Make that line a little bit. Okay, so if I had 3/9, that's going to be 3/10 repeating. So the 9 makes it repeating. Nothing else. Done. Okay, converting these ones. Now these ones are improper and mixed numbers, so they are going to be greater than 1. These ones are less than 1 because they're a decimal. Think of money. Sometimes it's good to convert in your mind decimals to money. And even here, 3 out of 4, think of 3/4 out of 4. 4 quarters makes up $1. That's a whole dollar. How much is 3/4 worth? 75 cents. Anyway, I digress. So 34 divided by 11. I'm going to have to, I'm going to pause this, do some workout, and I'm running out of time on my video. So I did 34 divided by 11. I know that I should get a number before my decimal because it has to be greater than 1 because it is an improper fraction. So 11 went into 34 3 times. 3 times 11 is 33. I subtract, I get 1. If I bring down this 0 here, 11 can't go into 10. So I'm going to put a 0 up right there, and then I'm going to bring down the next 0. 11 goes into a 100 9 times, and it's going to actually just repeat. I see that I get 99. I subtract, I get 1. I bring down the 0. 11 can. And I'm repeating myself. So it's going to be 3.09 repeating. And that's going to, can't really see that. And my next one, because I have 25 here, this 4 is going to go before my decimal, and this I'm going to change, just like before, I'm going to change it to a fraction that has a denominator of 100. 25 times 4 equals 100, so I'm going to have to multiply the 13, sorry, did I say 5? I meant 4, times 4. And 13 times 4, 26, 52. Okay, and then this 52 just goes right here. This is your assignment. Page 11, 1 through 7 odd, 17, 23, 31, 32. Not a lot. I mean, 7 problems, not even. Make sure to do it in your binder on a separate sheet of paper, not in your book.